Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Late Night with Mike. You guys remember Emery, right? Say hi, Emery.
Hello.
Yeah, co-owner of Three Tree Productions.
Three Tree Productions.
Got Brand behind the desk, working the monitor and whatnot. Social media, you know how I always go over the social medias right at the beginning. So, Facebook, Instagram, Late Nights with Mike, and Twitter is Late Night W Mike. Not gonna get into it today. And the email is latenightswithmike@gmail.com. So if you are interested in talking with us, getting on the show, anything like that, just DM us, email, whatever it may be. We also have another guest in here tonight. She's sitting on the floor patiently, being quiet as a church mouse. Sarah's doing photography. You can say hi.
Hello.
Hello. So we got the whole crew in here tonight. It's going to be a very interesting show today. We got a lot to talk about, and that's mainly because a lot's been going on. But before I do, sponsors with the Three Tree Productions with Emery. Also, DOS Solutions. DOS Solutions, that's the other one. So thank you for all the support. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So it's been a crazy week. I think we agree, Emery?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's been just like the last couple days, not even like the whole week. I mean, a lot's been going on in just a couple days' time. One thing we're going to be talking about, and it's a very sensitive subject for a lot of people, I'm sure, and it needs to be talked about, of course, because it's just happened for all those people who are trying to cope with what's happening, especially if you live in Florida. We're going to be talking about Jacksonville and about a not even that old of a kid. I'd say he's my age.
Yeah, he's our
he's our age.
Our age.
And he acted hatefully and terribly, and he shot and killed people and injured people as well. His name's David Katz. He's 24 years old, and he decided to take it upon himself and take lives, which is a terrible thing. So again, our thoughts and prayers to anybody that has to deal with that. We know it's not enough, but just so you know, we are thinking about it. We do want to talk about it, and we do think that it's an issue that needs to be happened. So we're going to talk about some of the issues that could have caused this. And some of the issues that we think could have been avoided, or things that we only have as much information as they give us, as it comes along. So, these that I want to talk about was security there. Mm-hmm. How that could happen. Some facts on Florida. That was a no gun zone, right?
Yeah.
When the shooting happened.
Yeah, it's the whole harbor area inside of Jacksonville, Florida, which is, and inside of that, it was the convention center over there, which is a no firearm area, mainly around ports. That's usually the case unless you're law enforcement. And it was interesting because, a lot of times when you look at mass shootings, and I know this is really early to bring this on, so I know a lot of people are going to be upset, but, a lot of these situations that you look at with mass shootings, you're looking at areas.
And that's what this was. This was a mass shooting.
Well, it's considered. I mean, anytime that more than 4 people are shot, they don't even have to be fatalities. It can just be casualties. And a casualty is a loose term for somebody who has been injured in some sort of combat or warfare. Essentially, you have the designation of a mass shooting. So, and that's interesting because a lot of people, they hear the word mass shooting and they automatically assume that it's, a lot of people who
are it's like 10, 20, 30, 40.
So
it's like almost a bomb went off.
I do want to address immediately that this is a legitimate mass shooting, as opposed to a lot of reports, and they say, "Oh, America has so many."
Anyone else underplay it? This is an underplaying type of.
If gang violence happens and 4 people get shot in the process, it's considered a mass shooting, but it won't be reported.
Yeah.
But it will be reported under statistics. So it's important to keep that in mind. But this is a legitimate case.
And the background for it, for people that don't know, this was a video game tournament for I believe it was Madden. For a football game. So just a bunch of people that just wanted to go have a good time and wanted to enjoy themselves. And this guy who was actually, this kid was in it. He was supposed to be in it, and who knows why? We might not never ever know. Depends on what more information whatever investigators bring up. But
this is a tricky situation because early on, a lot of people, and this goes both ways, and it angers me when I hear this. And I actually just got in a Facebook argument with somebody over this. Is a lot of people want to call this guy a terrorist, where that might be the facts. We don't know yet. a terrorist is somebody who's described as somebody who acts on a political motive with a political
something to say about it.
Yeah.
He's trying to represent some type of ordeal. Or
exactly.
Idealistic viewpoint, right?
Just because it's dissidence and then there's a conflict that happens doesn't necessarily mean you're a terrorist.
This was more of a what you would say a town or just a state issue.
Yeah,
Absolutely. This is our own country dealing with a problem that we're all dealing with, whether it's mental health or it's guns.
Yeah.
It's just an issue that's going on in our country, just, with our people.
Yeah,
these are our
absolutely.
People.
I mean, and we don't necessarily know because the facts aren't out there.
Yeah,
so I think it's very important.
Just happened today, so.
I think it's very important not to jump the gun and say this is what was happening. And it's tough because the way that the media works is that they're going to call a situation terrorism if it's not in some ways, just because that's the immediate term that everybody identifies with.
Yeah.
And it's a lot like mass shooting is where they go, oh, I identify with that term, I know what it means. And that kind of jumping to conclusion is actually, in my opinion, it's spin, it's media spin, it's not actual fact. So it's important to make sure that we look at the truth behind why this guy did what he did.
Yeah, and that's the terrible part, and I don't think I brought this up, is he did kill himself afterwards. He did shoot himself. He's gone. He's no longer
Do you know if he's one of the confirmed casualties, if that was in the four?
I don't think he was.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure on that, though. But they are also talking about the fact that they're still looking into it, seeing if he was the only shooter.
Yeah.
Really? They're investigating. So with any investigation, I'm sure if there's gunshots, I mean, a lot of people running, a lot of people. I mean, the thing with something like that is so many people's adrenaline's going on. Like people will almost say anything that their mind's trying to process in that moment.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, I heard a shot from down the hall.
Yeah.
Because people, I mean, how a gunfire goes off.
Absolutely.
You're gonna hear it, and that sound can go throughout the room.
Yeah.
People are going to be saying a lot of different stuff, so they'll have to investigate. They'll have to get everyone calm first, do the interviews with the people that are injured. Hopefully we hope they go through a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
And the people that just saw everything happen. And I mean, there was even streamers. There was video game streamers that were online while the shooting was happening.
Yeah.
There's a video online on YouTube, and you can hear it. It sounded like a handgun.
Yeah, it didn't sound like any type of higher caliber than something that needs to make a and I'm saying that not from an uneducated perspective. I'm saying that I think we talked with Brandon and I were talking about this beforehand. Is and him and I have a pretty educated perspective because him and I are both firearm advocates and we shoot a lot. And so I'm not going to jump the gun and say I know exactly what firearm was used, but we would assume.
I think even with someone without gun experience is going to say that sounded like an assault rifle.
No,
that sound would sound a lot different.
God, I hope we don't throw that term out early. But here's my initial perspective on it: is that I'm honestly upset that the guy killed himself, and the reason why I say that is because this guy, in my opinion, I'm upset anybody died for one, but for two, somebody like this is so sick, twisted, disgusting. I mean, you're preying on people who have no chance to defend themselves for one, and that's the lowest form of low, in my opinion. Like, that is inexcusable.
Yeah, there's no reason I could justify that.
It's sick. And I wish that this guy would have to go through the prosecution. I wish that he would have to face the death penalty.
He doesn't have to face a penalty for what he did.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And it's not like he doesn't have to wake up every single day and look at himself in the mirror. And I know that might sound sadistic on my point of view, but I really do think that anybody who carries out a shooting like this is a horrible human being. I don't think
anyone disagrees with you on that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone wishes that he could be put to justice. Hopefully, if there was anyone else involved in it, hopefully FBI, police department, whoever's in charge of the investigations, they find if there was anybody else, they find those people and then we can't get at least some type of closure, some justice.
Yeah, absolutely.
But as of right now, from the standings of it, we just got to hope the best for the people that are injured and hope that they get a speedy recovery. And hopefully they have more to tell and say about the incidents and we'll have more answers by then. We might be going up an update with this, probably next week or something.
Probably.
Or maybe we'll probably have it, maybe an earlier podcast, maybe not just Sunday, but we do our podcast every Sunday at 9:30. But if we get more information on this, we'll do a post or something on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter. We'll get it out there and we'll let you guys know. That was I'm trying to think here. Well,
I know your first. You want to talk about security was the first thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I really want to know your perspective on this.
So we want to talk about security. That was at least one thing that I thought was a big deal to talk about. I actually made some notes about it because I was kind of curious myself, like what could have been done? What things, like, do we know? Just, I mean, so this was a no gun zone.
Yes.
Okay, so no guns were. I mean, legally speaking, no people. Obviously, this guy wasn't planning on doing anything legal with that damn gun.
Obviously.
So with that being said, what were the security protocols going through that for something that's that big of an event? Where video game events, they are getting bigger, and they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I can actually speak on this from a personal side. When I was younger, I played Call of Duty competitively, and I attended a couple events. One of them was MLG Anaheim back in 2013, I think, was when Black Ops 2 was out.
Was there security for that?
Yeah, there's metal detectors and everything. I mean,
Yeah.
you couldn't get into the building without, with anything. You couldn't get into the building unless you were clean, and so that's first. The security, at least at MLG Anaheim, was incredible. I thought it was so far above than what I was expecting. I mean, then again, there were over 15,000 people there every day. So, when you take that into effect, I don't know how large this tournament was. But
this makes me think now, actually, now in the moment, I'm starting to think, since he was supposed to be a player in this, maybe they didn't do security on him because they just assumed, he's a player. Like,
yeah,
they might have just let him walk in.
A lot of times, because the players' check-in is different from everybody else's check-in when you're going to an attended event, and so I know from the attendance perspective, we were definitely patted down. But a lot of times when you watch the behind-the-scenes videos for these professional video game tournaments, the players kind of go in, they get on the bus, and then they go to the back of the venue where they walk in and then do their own check-in. But they're never checked for whatever's on the person.
Serious check-ins or anything. So that makes me wonder about that.
Yeah.
Secondly, what makes me wonder what could have been done to prevent this, or what could have changed the situation. Security. So you say, like, in Anaheim, you got pretty good security, sounds like.
Yeah.
You got metal detectors.
But then again, I don't know on the player standpoint, because honestly, the players just kind of walked in. There's no...
Yeah, so that makes you think, it's like, obviously now they're probably thinking they need to take care of that.
Yeah, which is, it sucks, because that's something that you don't want to have to worry about. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, this comes down to, this is the sick will of one individual and not the majority. And this comes down to is like, well, should you have more armed personnel around? What is the state law, at least in California, is any group above 20 people, there is required to be security at any event. And I'm assuming it's very
similar. I feel like it would be at least pretty close to that.
Yeah, it has to be.
And there is a concealed carry permit. You don't need to notify any officers that you have on you, correct, Brendan? I believe that we have that.
Yeah, the law in Florida is you don't have to notify a police officer that you're carrying.
Yeah, so you're able to carry a gun in parks, as long as it's concealed carry, I believe, also in Florida. Yeah. But with this circumstance, he was in a no gun zone.
Yeah.
It was for sure. Yeah. And I guess the question is would it have been better if they would have allowed all the guns in there? I think it might be a little too soon for some people to be talking about this, but I think it needs to be discussed because not a lot of people try to find the answers out of why this is happening and what we can do to prevent this. So,
if anything, I think law enforcement should have definitely been in the venue.
At least there, right?
Yeah.
So someone permitted with a firearm that its job is to serve and protect the people, probably that'd be a good idea to have those people there.
Yeah.
I mean, if they couldn't get a shot off on the guy before he killed himself, I mean...
Yeah.
You would have hoped a cop would
at least incapacitate the guy. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I mean, stop him. Yeah, a non-fatal blow to make him pay for his crimes.
Yeah.
So police. I'm really surprised. I mean, and that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know if there were police there. I don't know how the security was, but what I don't understand is how a guy gets the gun into a tournament where there are multiple people. Like you said, this is a mass shooting. This is a mass population of people.
Yeah.
People are showing up for these video game conferences.
Yeah.
And this isn't the first shooting in Florida that's been going on. Where there's been a shooting.
Yeah, this is the second shooting in Jacksonville in the last 5 months.
Yeah, so
which
Jacksonville,
is crazy.
For Jacksonville, I mean, I wish I could kind of go down there and kind of figure out more about how their laws work and what's going on. But obviously something needs to change out there.
But back to what he was saying, though, they don't check the people who are in the event.
Yeah, they're not checking the people.
Like when I do,
that's an issue.
Like when I do private details, we don't check the celebrities that are coming in for weapons. We check the guests.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is.
And that's so. I guess that we can address the issue starting from there. Is why aren't these people? It doesn't matter who you are, how special you are. If you're a celebrity, no one gives a fuck. Safety comes before You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before you. Sorry, like if you're that important, you probably don't go to events. You know, you probably stay indoors. You know.
Well, and as video games become more and more popular, obviously esports has taken the world by storm, and I say the world not lightly. I mean, seriously, we have literally gone from in 2008 when the first Call of Duty came out. So I'm talking Call of Duty Modern Warfare. There were other professional video games, but it was kind of a small community.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of people.
In Korea, it was very large with StarCraft and League of Legends, but it was a smaller community. But once Call of Duty became a game, and I'm not saying Call of Duty is the best esports game, but once it got its brand out there that this is a competitive sport, if you will, that people can come and attend events to watch, and people are actually genuinely interested. Now, this opens the door to every other video game, where all of a sudden these communities of people who aren't used to being able to come and attend events.
Yeah, and they're grabbing onto that, and you know, it is grasping more and more audiences.
As it gets bigger, the most important thing for the organizers of events and the content creators is to remember that this should have the same level of security that
as anything else. Yeah, I mean,
any other professional sporting event should.
Yeah, they're selling out.
Yeah.
I mean, video game conferences and tournaments are starting to sell out, and a lot more and more people. I mean, a friend of mine, he actually just got back from Vegas. They went to a video game. It was a tournament. It was a video game tournament in Las Vegas, where there was another shooting. The previous shooting, the Vegas shooting that happened. Yeah, they went there for a video game tournament. Tons of people there.
Yeah,
tons of people just walking in and out. And I mean,
thousands.
They had the setup. They had the setup and everything. They had what I believe was a not caution tape, but like, you know what I'm talking about, like the little borders, keeping the people that bought tickets like inside the place and then keeping other people out.
The red rope.
The red rope, right? So so people are just walking in and out, and you got people that are drinking and whatnot, just walking by, talking to the people that are actually paying tickets to be in there.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, there's not a lot of separation from somebody wanting to do something like that and anyone being able to stop them before it can even happen.
Yeah, and Vegas is an interesting area just because
interesting people.
Yeah, it's an interesting community. It's also very. I mean, I'm not talking down on Las Vegas because I know it's a very interesting world, but they have a lot of crime that goes down.
Oh, for sure.
In Las Vegas,
yeah, they're trying to hire more and more police officers every day.
Yeah, and it is also one of the most, I think, secured areas in the world. There are more cameras in Las Vegas per square mile than there are people in some parts of the United States, which is like that's mind-blowing.
Unfathomable.
Yeah, I mean, and so obviously after that Vegas shooting, there's been a large number or a large increase of security that has gone. That has showed up for events like this. Now, it's interesting that Parkland has had two shootings in the last 5 months, but I will kind of emphasize the point that you actually don't. I mean, do we know if this guy was a resident of Jacksonville?
No, he was from Baltimore.
He's from Baltimore. Okay, so that's the other thing is you don't know these people. They're coming from all over the United States, all over the world even, to come play at these tournaments, and sometimes it's very difficult to know what exactly to expect. So on your perspective and on your point, I think it would be wise in some ways to make sure that those celebrities or not even celebrities,
they're taking it seriously as the viewers, the fans, anything. Yeah, that's really important. And I mean, I think we hit the nail on the head there. And just so everyone knows, I mean myself, I know people in the Vegas shooting.
Yeah.
So I had a buddy of mine that was shot. And we do understand. We do understand what you're feeling right now.
Yeah.
We sympathize very much so. This is something that never should happen to anybody.
Yeah.
And these are the kind of questions that need to be answered. We need answers to these questions, and something needs to be done about it.
Yeah.
Something needs to be done about it for sure.
Absolutely.
Whether it's gun control or whether it's security or doing more searches, doing more security at places, and taking things a lot more seriously. Even if it's a fucking video game.
Yeah.
Even if it's a video game, it doesn't matter.
Here's the other thing.
People like that
is
do something about it.
We had a long conversation on episode 1 about this situation of, at what point do you look at somebody and say you're unfit to own a firearm? And what is the disconnect between law enforcement or the people who have the power to take firearms away from them?
And now we need more answers on that with how this kid got this firearm too.
And I heard
we know he was just an average guy.
Very unconfirmed. I know. Do not take this as fact because it's definitely this is something that I read on the internet, so as much fact goes.
The internet works.
Yeah, you know how the internet goes. But I did hear a report, or I did read a report that stated that the guy had some sort of domestic problems, including a felony charge that would require him to give up his firearms.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that ever happened or what the actual case was. And if that is the case, then we have a serious problem with law enforcement, because this is not only the first time, but now the second time in Jacksonville, Florida, that this has happened.
Yeah. And not only that, but the fact that we don't know the laws of Florida. We don't know how to go about.
But it's Baltimore. That's the issue. This guy's from Baltimore.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So how did he? First off, how did he acquire this firearm? Secondly, how did he transfer it between state lines? And then thirdly, why did he still have that firearm on his person if he did have a felony? And I'm not saying that that's true, but if that's the case, then we have a serious issue in regards to the actual enforcement of law, because a felony requires that you no longer own firearms, and that any firearm you have is taken away from you. So, and I'm a firm believer in that. A lot of gun control people would disagree with me, but I really think if you do have a felony on your record, there should be very strict guidelines as to why you own a firearm past that point. Because if you already have criminal intent, and I'm not talking about white-collar crime necessarily, but if it is something domestic, if it's something regarding violence, it's something regarding theft or anything, you should not be allowed to obtain or acquire or continue to own something that allows you to enhance or advance your evil intentions. And this guy clearly had evil intentions, and that's the sick part.
Yeah, and nothing was done about it. It wasn't looked into, and well, as far as we know, like I said, we need more information on this issue. But we're going to go ahead and continue. Once again, Florida, we feel for you.
Yeah.
We understand what you're going through. So if anyone feels the need to talk about this, please, we're social media now. Please feel free to talk to us. We'd love to talk to you guys back and help you get through this time. On to our next topic. It's been a very sad day when it comes to news for me today, because these are things that I like to talk about. But they need to be talked about. And another sad thing that happened today, we lost a great American, and that was John McCain. He died. John McCain has finally passed away. It was August 25th, yesterday, at 4:28 p.m. His brain tumor, he stopped his treatment, and he passed away. And it's very sad he died at 81 years old.
Yeah.
And for anyone that doesn't know much about his background and everything that he did, he started off as a Navy bomber pilot. He was a prisoner of war, which I'm sure everyone knows about with Trump talk.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh, man.
Don't worry, everyone. We will get to a lighter segment after all this stuff. I want to get through it, though. This is important things that people need to know about, and there's some great people out there that need to be heard about, and there's some terrible things that need to be discussed and need to be figured out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So once again, he was a prisoner of war for over 5 years in Vietnam. He was a Vietnam veteran. He was in the House of Representatives in 1982. He was in the U.S. Senate at 1986. Ran for president against Obama. And also, he started 2 different acts. And I thought these were very interesting because I actually didn't know these things about John McCain.
Okay, go for it.
And some type of memorial for John McCain in this passing. He started 2 different acts. And one of those was the Agent Orange Disease Act that he did. I'm trying to find the actual name for it. I had it written down here.
Agent Orange, huh?
Agent Orange, man.
Yeah, I know a couple people who were exposed to Agent Orange.
Yeah, I have a couple clients that actually their fathers were affected by it.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty. Dude, what the fuck are my nuts? This is what happens when I wear my glasses, people. This is exactly why I need to wear my glasses. So those won't work for me. Okay. Your eyes are more fucked than mine.
It's actually over here.
Here we go. It was let's see. Yeah, he was the co-sponsor of Agent Orange Act of 1991. For you people out there that don't know what Agent Orange is, it causes diseases, or it's linked to diseases that cause Parkinson's, lymphoma, prostate and respiratory cancer. This is a big time thing that a lot of people with family members of yours or grandparents, dads.
Especially if you're in the military.
Yeah, especially if you're a military family. Agent Orange disease has been linked to all of these. And he started to act on it to help the disabled veterans. They gave them benefits for this. So that was a really cool act that John McCain did while he was in the Senate. Also, he was part of the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act. I thought that was interesting because it actually helped. He thought that Native Americans were screwed over enough for 200 years that it was like they need a little piece of the pie. So he helped allow them to have gambling and casinos. and being able to make some money off of the United States.
Yeah,
that's good for them.
Because what that act essentially did is it allowed them federally to be able to do that, since Native Americans were on federal land. So it federally allowed Native Americans to run gambling, which meant that regardless of state lines, you were allowed to gamble. At least if you were on federal land inside of, say, California, where it's illegal to own a casino unless you were on Native American territory. So yeah, that's definitely a big one, and especially has shaped the way that certain communities kind of make money.
Shaped the country in a little way.
Well, especially California, because there's certain communities
and what's that other one? It starts with an M. I don't know if it's in
Morongo Casino and Resorts sponsor. Just kidding.
Fucking commercials, man. But yeah, so those are some things that
you can hire me for voiceovers if you want.
Be perfect. You have the voice for it.
Thank you.
In your radio shows.
John McCain he'll be remembered in a lot of ways, and it's unfortunate that in such a political time where there are so many hard lines drawn in the sand between different political figures, that he's going to be slandered in some ways. He's going to be shown in one respect, but at the end of the day, the guy was a U.S. military veteran. And
we respect our vets.
You respect your vets, and at least he really did try to make America a better place. That was his goal, regardless of what you think of his political standpoints and views. Because I know there's a lot of Republicans who are very upset with him, and I've heard some pretty nasty things about him online from Republicans, which I think is that's whatever you disagree with someone personally, that doesn't give you a right in their passing to defame that person because of something that you disagree with.
It can't take away from what they did do.
No.
It can't become personal enough to ignore the great things that they did, or at least their ideals. The ideals that were trying to make the world better.
The ideal is that he wanted to make America a great country, and that's why he served the nation. And whether I disagree with him or not, that's something that I can let aside, because he wanted to serve us.
He was a Navy bomber, man.
He
was a Navy bomber. He was bombing people in Vietnam.
So that's kind of like my. Oh gosh, I'm going to say something I hate. Public service announcement is
PSA.
Yeah, PSA. Anybody who really wants to hate the guy, I understand that you might not like his political views, but at the end of the day, you're essentially talking to a dead man, and that's stupid. Look at yourself in the mirror.
Have you been getting a lot of feed on Facebook about him? Have people been stating opinions?
Yeah.
Have you been listening to the social media trolls?
I don't listen to them. I like to read. I really like to read what people have to say.
I like reading when it's not long.
Huh?
I like reading when it's not long.
Yeah, well,
I don't read books. I read articles.
Yeah.
They're a lot better. But, so enough of that. I think we've gone through all the depressing stuff. Let's go ahead and... I think we're about ready to take a break. So when we come back, we're going to be talking a little more, kind of get your guys' hopes up again and have a great time.
It's not as bad as you think.
This is usually a fun podcast, but today we're a little more serious, and that's okay. But once again, if you're not following us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Late Night with Mike. Email is latenightswithmike@gmail.com. Right? Yeah, I said email, right? I said email. Yeah. So and then the Twitter is Late Nights Mike. Yeah. Go with that. I will never not pause after I say that. That bugs the shit out of me. But yeah, we'll be getting back to you guys in 5 minutes. Thanks for watching. And once again, if you need support through this moment, feel free to message us. And we'd love to talk to you guys and get your feedback on this. So with that, take it away, Brandon. Welcome back, YouTube. Back here with Emery. Brandon. I don't know what camera to look at right now. What camera should I be looking at?
All three.
It'd be all three. That's literally what I just did. Florida for you. For John McCain. For Betty White still being alive.
Amen.
Someone fucked with you earlier. It made you think that she had passed away today, too.
Oh, God.
So, in honor
Thanks, Internet.
of those people out there and the victims and all the people that are suffering right now, we're going to go ahead and take a shot right now.
Of expensive rum.
Very expensive rum. I gave out the name, but I don't want to... I mean, can I?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if I can pronounce it.
Let me get you with my Portuguese.
Beberro aniversario. Ron extra engegro.
It's Italian, not Mexican.
I have no
Or
idea.
Spanish.
Venezuela, actually.
They're looking
Oh, really?
Say?
But yeah, there you go, people. Really good rum. So,
Cheers.
cheers, salute. Brent doesn't drink. Right, Brent?
30 years sober today.
Damn, that's a long time.
Wow.
That was good, and I literally just like chased it with
Beer.
beer. America.
Venezuelan rum.
That's the American way.
This is Hawaiian
The
beer?
only way.
America.
America. Oh yeah, you got Kona, didn't you? Yeah, I got a Hawaiian beer inside a Hawaiian mug.
Ooh.
Fuck yeah. I love tikis. Tikis are my shit. I don't know if I can get my shit on here, but
Ooh.
I got a tiki tattoo. But that's
Wow, you're really
Hawaiian.
tough.
I am. I'm so tough, dude. I was picking fruits out of my spice garden,
Yeah.
and I only cried for 20 minutes when it pricked my finger, when like a little thorn did.
You know, there's
I don't
some
know that's
sharp
fucking-
thorns in
fuck
there
that.
that have
No,
some
no.
sort of poison on them that make them sting like a motherfucker.
I don't know, but Brandon just gave me a look like you're a fucking idiot, and I agree with it.
100%.
The spice garden?
I was guarding my spice garden.
It's got rosemary and basil, and it has some bougainvillea for pretty flowers.
Dude, don't talk shit about rosemary. Rosemary's fucking awesome on chicken.
I like mint.
It's got thyme.
On chicken?
No,
Mint?
Mint said chicken.
I did. And then you said, I like mint.
I got a
I'm talking about
motherfucking
spice.
chicken.
It's killing me.
X Games.
We're trying to loosen up now because this first half of the podcast has been very depressing. And we like to celebrate life and have a great time. So that's what we're doing. If you're drinking at home, have a shot for everybody. As long as you're over the age of 21.
Yeah.
As long as you're 21 and over and drinking responsibly, not driving. No drinking and driving, people. Besides that, I think we should pour another one because that actually was pretty fucking good. And it actually like got my energy back up a little bit.
Oh, it's a great sound.
And honestly, I'm not gonna be able to drink all week because I'm gonna be running all week.
Yep, that's
That's
right.
what I'm doing
That's
now.
right, Mike. We're going to be paying for this later.
I'm a cross country runner now.
At Moore Park Baseball? What?
Yeah, more pro baseball.
Moore Park College Baseball. We're not in high school.
You don't even know me.
Mine's a little more saucy than
If we're
yours.
21 in high school, something's wrong.
I mean,
Literally, there probably is something wrong.
yeah.
That's not a figure of speech.
Let's not start some sort of controversy.
Cheers. I love the shot glasses.
Well, I'm not going to be able to drive
Don
home.
Cabo.
This
That's
has
okay.
got a...
You stay here.
Sweet.
And another.
And another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one. Fight me.
Major killer.
Flam. All right, so our next topic, what we're going to be talking about today.
My
I
favorite
don't
conspiracy theorist.
I had a conspiracy theory earlier today, and I forget what the fuck it was. God damn it, why'd you have to bring that up?
This just in, guys. We just hit conspiracy theory half hour.
No,
The second
what
half
were we
of our
talking
super
about?
serious podcast.
Is that a trigger word for you two? We're getting a band?
Yeah, 100%. Trigger word.
Dude, that's how you get famous. You just gotta get banned like twice.
Yeah. And then film a dead person in a forest.
That's fair. Oh, what was I gonna talk about? That was a conspiracy.
Yeah, that's right, Logan Paul. I'm calling you out after you have that rematch with KSI.
Fun fact. Logan Paul, you weren't the first Maverick. John McCain was Maverick. Don't fucking disgrace him, you son of a bitch.
Man.
I'm just saying, those are some big shoes to fill. You want to talk about Mavericks?
Yeah.
John McCain was the Maverick.
No, I just got done.
I'm not even a Republican, but, good for John McCain.
Yay, let's go independents and libertarians, huh?
Woo, I'm not liberal.
Yeah.
I'm like neither or. I'm peace and freedom party. I'm independent. I'm an independent white woman.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
Will you fight for your life?
Hey, we were gonna talk about Alex Jones getting banned.
Frauds are gay!
Dude, that was actually good. That was actually good. Like a good voice for him. I sounded just like him, actually.
Yep.
I don't watch him a lot, but
I'm a fat-ass conspiracy theorist.
I hate this earbud so much. It's terrible. But yeah, so talk about Alex Jones getting booted from what is it? YouTube,
Facebook, not Twitter.
Not Twitter. Oh, well, Twitter is non-biased, so good for them.
Yeah, well, Twitter's kind of a...
Because that's the story, right? Is that Facebook and YouTube are kind of being biased? Is because they're more libertarian, or
no, not libertarian at all. That's
vice versa.
Anti.
I don't know much about Alex Jones. I really don't.
So Alex Jones,
elaborate.
Like him or hate him, you kind of have to laugh at him.
I laugh at everything
in a lot of ways. He's a very entertaining person. He kind of. I heard it. He had an interview with Joe Rogan, I think.
Explain who he is first, for people that don't know who Alex Jones is.
He's a political figure. Well, not figure. He's a political commentator who had a YouTube channel.
It sounds like he doesn't have a figure. Isn't he really fat?
Yeah, he's fat.
All right, good for him.
It's what peak performance looks like, though. I love you, Alex Jones, so don't take it hardly.
I hope I look like him by the time this actually gets live. Like, once this podcast
yeah, he'll never see this. He doesn't have YouTube anymore. I forgot.
Once this podcast, the broadcast?
Yeah, broadcast.
Podcast gets huge. I hope that I'm in as good a shape as Alex Jones.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you are, you're making a lot of money. But he ran a show called InfoWars, where they took information from either credible or less than credible sources, and he explained them with his conspiracy worldview, which is that the world order is taking over, and that we need to fight for our lives because the end of the world's coming.
Because the government, man.
I mean, what's interesting is he was actually it wasn't Joe Rogan on the podcast. It was Milo Yiannopoulos.
That guy is very interesting.
He's flamboyant, and I love it.
He's very flamboyant.
He makes people angry, and in some ways, I think making people angry gets people talking.
Sometimes I feel like it's out of place, though. Sometimes, but I know he's doing it. He's doing it for like that flamboyant X factor.
People aren't going to listen to you unless you're hateful.
He's like, I'm gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, well,
like,
so
even if it's irrelevant, like
Milo was talking about. By the way, Milo's gay. If you guys,
he's a homosexual.
He's a homosexual.
He's a homosexual Republican.
Conservative, yeah. He's a full conservative. Which is
debater.
Essentially the anti of everything that liberal politicians.
He's a master debater, right?
He talks about sex a lot. But he was interviewing.
Did you know you said that on your last podcast when you came on here?
Oh, yeah?
The last podcast you came on here, he didn't know that you made that joke, master debater.
Yeah.
And he literally, 2 weeks after, he watched our podcast.
Yeah.
And he literally started laughing his ass off because he figured it out.
Well,
it took him 2 weeks to figure out that joke.
It's okay, Brandon. We understand.
He was fucking dying on here. I'm killing him. Give me some fire, No, Kevin Hart. Use the fucking fire, yo. Kill him, yo.
So I'm trying to get to my point. The one thing is, I honestly believe that he believes what he's saying, and that's why I think a lot of people listen to him. Is that he's very convinced in the ideologies that he said, regardless of whether or not you believe it or not. YouTube, which is a Google corporation, is a publicly owned corporation, shut down his YouTube channel because it, according to their perspective on it,
code of conduct
violated, their channel, their company's code of conduct and their rules and regulations on YouTube channels and what you're allowed to cover, which has been a very hot topic lately, especially with Facebook.
And so, Zuckerberg is going through the ringer on that one.
Yeah, and within a couple of days, I believe in the same day, Facebook and YouTube both took down his channels and social media, disallowing him from
the same day or just
close the same day or in a close time. I mean, it was definitely in a close time proximity.
Do you think they talk to each other?
Most likely, yeah. I mean, that's my opinion.
It's all perspective. It's all
Well, I mean, at that high level of ownership and political game, there's definitely. In my opinion, I think there's definitely cause to say that, it was probably planned out that they were going to shut them down at the same time.
Yeah. Make sure they have their asses covered.
Yeah.
Before they do anything.
So he was taken off of both of those sites, disallowing InfoWars to exist. So, Alex Jones, he's famous for a whole bunch of memes, I would say, because he is.
That's how I got to know him, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like he's been in a movie. Has he been in any movies?
I sincerely
if anything, I think somebody was.
He could be on WWE one day.
I think someone might have been portraying his kind of personality. I think he reminds me of it was this one movie. It's a really big movie. It was like the end of the world kind of movie. It was War of the Worlds.
Okay.
Remember that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, where the world's gonna end or whatever. Maybe it was 2012. No, it's 2012. That movie 2012 when the world was supposed to end. There was this one guy that was in Yosemite Park, and he was like, the world's gonna end, everybody, and everyone thought he was crazy. He sounded like Alex Jones.
Okay.
And he was like, everyone's crazy, it's the government, they're trying to hide it from all of you.
Okay.
All the people that have money are gonna be able to survive and go on the ship because, apparently like the polar ice caps are gonna melt, everything's gonna go to shit. Basically the world's gonna turn to water.
Yeah.
And all the rich people are getting the first ride home.
Yeah.
And everyone was talking, he's that crazy guy in Yosemite Park living in a van, which he was living in an RV.
Yeah.
And
this
he was right, and he was like, I'm dying, like literally talking about exactly what I said was going to happen. And they died. Spoilers for a 2012 movie, people.
Yeah.
In case you haven't seen it.
Foreshadowing. You've seen the stuff with
6 years later.
Have you seen the stuff with The Simpsons?
Dude, The Simpsons are future television.
That's scary. It's
Dude, Matt Groening.
Dude,
that guy's a champion.
I don't know what to think about that, but like,
Donald Trump is president of the United States.
At a certain point,
Family Guy even got the Boston bombing.
Yeah, but at a certain point, when do you stop calling bullshit and start going, this is fucking serious? Like,
he's a time traveler. That's what Kevin Smith was talking about.
I guess so.
He's a time traveler, man.
I would believe it.
Yeah.
But
dude, how did we get here? Where did
Alex Jones. We got here with Alex Jones. But in my opinion, I think it's wrong.
This is what happens when I start having rum.
Do you have a debate on that? I mean,
on Alex Jones?
Yeah, like, do you think that him getting struck off of YouTube and Facebook is incorrect?
Honestly, I'm a big believer in freedom of speech.
Okay.
I believe as long as it's the only time I feel like freedom of speech needs an asterisk is when you're being racist.
Yeah,
that seems pretty simple,
different.
Right?
That
seems like a simple thing.
That's
so
different.
Yeah, with that being said, if he's not being racist, he should be able to say whatever he wants without feeling like he needs to watch what he says. Because I wouldn't be able to do what I do, what you're doing right now and what Brandon does behind this monitor. We wouldn't be able to do what we're doing if we didn't have our freedom of speech. And this is America, and not only America, a lot of places have their different freedom of speeches. Even Canada has hate speech is illegal.
England is the biggest one. If you post something on Facebook that's contrary to what the state is currently believing, you can get arrested for it or visited by the police.
Yeah, so it's, when it comes down to it, I feel very patriotic with America.
Yeah.
I thank America for that amendment and for that right to have that. And the fact that Facebook and YouTube have both decided to do that. Sorry, YouTube. Thank you for using us as a platform. Don't take us off. But that's fucked up, bro. What?
No, I mean,
I don't think as long as he's keeping context and he's making a point, and this is the best way for people to see it because you're not getting it from NBC, you're not getting it from Fox, you're not getting it from CNN.
No.
You want to get it from this kind of platform where people are being real. Where people are being real. This is literally like their job is to just talk about their feelings.
That's the glory of
opinions.
The internet. In some ways, like we hate it, but in other ways, the internet was created so that we could share social ideas.
And we're even blocked in the internet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that we've already been so cut off from the internet with how much we can and can't do, this is literally the platform. YouTube, you guys have a responsibility to allow people to get that voice out there, to allow people to speak their opinions, and for people to grasp onto what they believe and find others that believe in the same thing and ride it out.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Jones, at least what he's doing, from what you've told me, what Brandon's told me, the guy's at least stand by with what he says.
Yeah.
And it's controversial, yes. It may offend some people, but it's all within the constitutional rights that we're all given.
Yeah.
And any of them do what I'm doing. Do what he's doing right now.
People,
you can come on. You can talk.
People tend to argue with the First Amendment, and they say, this is what it means, this is what it means, this is what it means. The founders intended it to mean that I have a right to speak openly on my political beliefs in order to engage in political discussion, strictly political discussion, in terms of I can legally say whatever I want about politics as long as it doesn't infringe on someone's life, liberty, or pursuit of happiness. And
beautifully spoken.
And so, and a lot of people try to say that the Declaration of Independence doesn't have a right to legally state anything, but it does have context to a lot of the laws that we talk about in the Constitution.
Yeah.
And so under modern code, that has a lot of different contexts. You brought up racism, which is a very good point.
It's the only thing I think that any freedoms should be...
Not necessarily racism. Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. So if you're specifically saying, hey, I think this person should be dead, I think this person should be killed, or I think this person should have their property taken away from them, or certain things like that.
That's getting into some very dirty waters.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So you're talking
you're
about
enabling someone to get to the pursuit of happiness.
And
you don't want them to have that.
And that actually has a term. Do you know what the term is?
Please give it to me, because I'm sure you have it.
So the term is it's like defamation. Defamation, or so there's two terms for it. There's libel, which is written word, and then there's starts with an S. It's called
shit.
Shit is the exact term.
You forgot.
Brandon's laughing.
You forgot the word.
I did forget.
Shenanigans.
Nah, it's
shucks.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking right now.
Shoot. She's Louise. For people that don't know about this, we actually do have a whole, what do you call this? A PVC pipe made like screening that is keeping more audio out because we already know we echo like a motherfucker.
Professionally done.
Yeah.
Professionally done by myself, and Brandon had something.
I see the tool that you used to cut.
I used PVC pipe cutter.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Congrats. You used
Did I do a good job?
Teeth.
Yeah, we used T's, we used elbows.
Nice.
Yeah, we did an alright job since
Nice.
you've been gone. But you know what? I blame you for anything that you find wrong with this because you could.
I don't find anything wrong with it. It's very structurally integral. It seems to stand.
I feel like everybody's buzzed in this room right now.
Except me.
Yeah, everyone except you. Mine. You're just the most important
I gotta
thing.
drive home.
It's fair enough. Yeah, but
Brandon and I are going to cuddle on the couch later.
what the fuck were we talking about?
Okay.
Cut. Is that what you said? Cut. See, everybody, we went from a very depressing, start to this broadcast. We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back, people.
Yeah.
We're having a good time. Even though I see sweat on your lip because we are in a lit-filled room, slapping the bass, man.
Yeah.
We are in a lit-filled room with tons of lights,
Uh-huh.
and it's hot as hell in here, but we are still broadcasting.
We're trying to start a fire in this
because
room.
we're having fun and sacrificing our body temperature for this fucking broadcast. It's getting so hot in here. We have 3 cameras. We used to only have 2 for you people. We got 3 now.
3.
3. Big
One of them was
numbers.
an iPhone.
Big facts.
Big Shuck.
Brrrr.
Hot man's on the block. Man's not hot.
We even got $5 headphones.
She says, put on your jacket. I said, man's not hot.
Got to do push-ups, man.
Skrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrrr
keep going.
2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3 quick maths.
Hey,
Every man on the block.
Hold the fuck up, all right?
Okay.
The answer's 8. The answer's clearly 8. 8 minus 4, take the 4 the fuck away. The answer is
2 plus
8.
2 is 4 minus 1.
This is probably the most fun I've had on a podcast. That's because we've been drinking a lot.
I want to stab myself in the kneecap with a sidearm iron.
Pretty civic.
And there we go. He made it deep again. But, back to... I know, we're being silly right now, but, coming down to it. We've been talking a lot about a lot of different issues that we've been talking about. I didn't hear what you said. We've been talking about a lot of different issues. And a lot of things that mean a lot to us. I hope all of you know that we are here. We've been trying to distract you from whatever's going on in your lives, but also to inform you on what's going on and what we're thinking about. And everything that we believe is a big deal. And everything that, isn't talked about enough. And we always hear about the problems, and we always hear about whose problem it is and whose fault it is. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Mm.
Have you noticed, whether it's Democratic or Republican or conservative or liberal, no matter what it is, I always see fingers pointed at one another. I always see, all the time. You actually did it too. I let him. I need a penicillin shot. But no, seriously though. With when it's coming down to that, there's always fingers being pointed at each other.
Yeah.
And they're always talking about the problem. Or you might be the problem, or you're the problem, or both of us are the problem. But they never come up with a solution. And I ask for everybody to come up with solutions because they're not doing it for us. I feel like a lot of politicians, a lot of news and media don't come up with solutions, and that's something I'm driving in my car listening to music or podcasts or whatever I'm listening to, and at the end of the day, I listen to people that are angry. I listen to Republicans that are angry. I listen to Democrats that are angry. I listen to just everyday people on YouTube channels, that are doing the same thing that we're doing, and they're angry about stuff. But I never hear anyone talk about answers, and I think it's a really big deal that we have answers to these questions.
Yeah,
things that are going on in the real world.
Well,
I'm tired of hearing the problems because we know what the problems are.
Yeah.
Even if they're the wrong solutions, let's bring up solutions. Let's bring up things that even if they mess up, it's at least we're trying. At least we're trying to do that. I hate saying we're giving you our thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers only go so far. There needs to be action done, and there needs to be something. Whether it's the wrong answer or it's the right answer, we need to start moving forward.
Here's the big issue with politics today is
frustrates me, man. I just got serious right now.
Yeah, I know. Well, people are so concerned about keeping their political jobs when the founders never really intended on politics being a career job.
Fucking horses everywhere to work. Seriously, how much?
Well, these politicians
pissed off already.
A lot of people. No, I mean serious. On a very serious note, a lot of people think the founders were these old crotchety dudes who were just trying to advance whatever their opinion or political agenda was. Let me break it down for y'all.
Break it down.
These guys were 20 to 25 years old, most of them. So our age.
Which their lifelines were obviously a lot shorter than ours.
Yeah, but 20 to 25 years old. It doesn't matter. They're still our age.
Dude, I could have run the Constitution.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
At my age right now, they were old enough to write the Constitution.
So
bright-minded individuals at that age.
Their ideas of government were based on, we're sick of old, stupid people telling us what to do.
Totally.
In particular,
how crazy is that? We're the same age as those guys that wrote the Constitution.
And in particular,
at least a good amount of them.
Yeah, well, yeah, the majority of them. I mean, I think Benjamin Franklin was the oldest.
Yeah,
and he was only an advisor to the Constitution or the Continental Congress because he was technically. Do you know where he was from?
I learned about it. I don't remember now.
From England, but did most of his political work in France. So he was just an advisor to the Continental Congress, and so when you look at politics. And you look at these young men who are talking about these ideas, they didn't intend on people being politicians for 40 years. They said, whatever you do in your day-to-day job, you take your life experience and you apply it, whether it's right, whether it's wrong, whatever. We try it out because you are working.
Give it a chance, right?
Yeah, give it a chance.
What I'm talking about
and I agree, and that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you because politics is so caught up with people like you got to go to college, you got to go get your 4-year degree, then you got to go to law school and pass the bar exam, and then once you do that, then you start running for office once you reach the age of 25 because that's when you can start being a senator in your state. And once you do that, you try to work until you're a governor, and then eventually the president of the United States is a good, honest, working American. Like you know what that tells me? That means you've learned how to scam your way through college, and you've learned how to scam your way through life until the point that you are willing to take a higher perspective in political office. And
That's real.
I'm not trying to scam. I'm not trying to say that there aren't good politicians out there, but seriously, how genuine are you? If I'm a guy who's worked every single day of his life since the age of 18, I'm hammering nails in walls, putting electrical wires together, building houses, and I'm doing honest work. My life is completely different from yours. You don't understand me, and I definitely don't understand you because I don't know where you're coming from. But as a construction worker, on my side of things, I'm an electrician, okay? I guarantee you I have a better perspective of what it's like for an illegal immigrant, first off, who's coming here for work, than 90% of politicians in Washington. Because those guys don't actually understand what it's like to be an actual construction worker. And that's like my biggest argument is that how could anybody who sits in an office every single day genuinely understand what it's like to go to work every single day?
Yeah,
and
you know your politicians that literally they show up for a day to show you like, oh hey, I can shovel shit.
Yeah,
I can shovel some dirt at a construction company and move it from one end to the other.
Yeah, in a business suit.
Yeah, in a fucking suit and tie. Yeah, exactly. And and I'm glad that we find common ground on that. And
Yeah.
I think that's what our generation's all about, and I think that's why this is such a big deal. Like you said, the Constitution was made by people in their 20s.
Yeah.
In their 20s.
Who, by the way, were not politicians.
Who are called millennials nowadays. We are the millennials, right?
Yeah.
We're the millennials. We're also in our 20s, and we're seeing the world in a new light that we didn't see when we were 18, when we were 15, when we were 10.
Yeah.
We were naive to it, and we're getting older, and we're starting to understand how things work, and we're seeing where the country is going. And a lot of these people that are going on, protests, and a lot of these people that are, like literally arguing questions and things that they don't agree with, and they're tired of hearing the prayers and the thoughts and prayers. They're tired of hearing the thoughts.
They're also very tired of listening to
right?
politicians say, "We'll get it done. Don't worry. Guarantee. If I'm elected in November, you'll get your votes wherever I'm going. So in Congress, I will vote for you." No, you won't.
Show us.
No, you won't.
Show it.
Because I've sat here and waited for Congress to pass anything. You notice that they never pass any major legislation.
I bet they never thought that people our age would care this much about politics. Honestly,
I mean, that's kind of the game. Is they kind of prey off of the naive.
Their fingers are crossed that we're not paying attention.
Yeah, on both sides.
Oh, totally, for sure.
Yeah, on both sides.
Like I said, I'm not Democratic.
Oh no, I know. I don't agree with you.
With all that stuff, that's what I'm saying. And the reason I can't be like that is because of the fact that I see so much wrong with both.
Yeah.
The problem, there's errors. There's when you see issues, you find solutions, and all I hear is your errors are worse than our errors.
Yeah.
And why aren't we doing anything about it?
Yeah.
And that's my big question is why do we not have the solutions to fix these issues?
Yeah.
And all I hear is fingers pointing. That's all I see.
Believe it or not, one of the best political conversations, and I've had multiple with this person, that I ever had was with a professor that I had in college who him and I disagree on virtually everything.
That sounds like a fun class.
And it wasn't in class. We would sit there. He was an associate dean for the department for a while.
Okay.
And he would just watch over one of the halls. He was in the information desk, and him and I would sit there and we would talk for hours after one of my night classes. And I've had more in-depth political conversations that were actually understanding.
He was being real, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it wasn't like we were yelling at each other saying we're wrong. It was just bouncing ideas off each other going, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And then all of a sudden, you have constructive conversation going on versus I'm going to line up with a whole bunch of people who believe everything that I believe, and we're just going to fight you physically and scream at each other. What does that accomplish? And I think the motive...
What's getting done by that?
Well, and I think that's a big issue with our generation specifically is that we have never been taught what to do about politics.
No,
we don't understand.
Sit in our chair, be quiet, and listen.
Yeah, and so when you do that, you put a cap on them. And so the moment these people become adults, they start acting irrationally and causing riots and causing protests that have zero basis or meaning. So you see people who are going to point fingers at each other at our age who have no clue what they're talking about.
And people are calling us stupid and whatnot because they're protesting in a way, and they're like, oh, well, they don't know what they're talking about. They know what they're doing. Oh, CNN's putting them up to it, or Fox is putting them up to it, or everyone's. Is it hard to believe that there's some people out there that are just pissed the fuck off?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's crazy, and it's kids. It's kids. It's not even the adults. You don't see adults doing what kids are doing right now. I'm not seeing. I mean, unless it's Facebook and they're all hiding behind their Facebooks. I'm not seeing anybody under the age of 40 coming out besides politicians who all have agendas and trying to get elected somewhere are saying that they're pissed about something and saying that they have the solutions, and it's not helping it go anywhere. But Brad, what time are we at? How are we doing?
We're about an hour.
Just about an hour.
Just about an hour in.
Over an hour.
I mean, I think we're making some good points tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really well.
The second half has been a lot more fun.
It's been a lot more fun. It's been serious because this all relates to what we talked about in the beginning.
Yeah,
we were so saddened about, and what frustrates us and makes us angry. But with that said, I'd like to keep talking about this.
Yeah,
I think we might take another break. It might have to be a longer break. Okay, so Hodden?
I think another thing to do is we could revisit this later this week. I think it's a good idea to have a second episode.
That's probably a good idea.
Because we have a lot more cool things we could talk about. I'm
hopefully on a lighter note.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I'm sweating balls. Brandon's been being a trooper, sweating balls back here in his long sleeve.
He's the guy wearing a fucking long sleeve.
He's wearing a long sleeve.
Ralph Lauren polo long sleeve. Jesus, dude, that's some high quality fabric that's making your pets sweat.
Cheers. Anyways,
cheers.
From Late Night with Mike, Emery Johnson.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for having us all here. Thanks for watching us. And once again, the social medias, Facebook and Instagram, Late Night with Mike, and Twitter, Late Nights with W Mike. Late Night W Mike. Why can't I? Late Nights W Mike?
That's
I
tough.
never get that right. I always fuck that up, Brandon.
That's really
Help
tough.
me.
Late Night W Mike.
We really got to do something about that for YouTube. But once again, our email also, latenightwithmike@gmail.com. Thanks for coming. Catch you next time, YouTube.